Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Katachana smite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismite viparitam shatshishe tanya namamitam. Okay, so we're today reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 12, beginning with text number 19, all the way to text number 24. And today also happens to be the disappearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And so we're on text number 19. Oho mitrani gadata sarvabhutam purasthitam asmat sangrasana vyata vyala tunayate nava. The boy said, "My dear friends, is this creature dead? Or is it actually a living python with its mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? Kindly clear up this doubt." So the friends began to discuss amongst themselves the reality of the wonderful creature laying before them. Was it dead? Or was it actually a living python trying to swallow them up? Satyam arka karam raktam uttarahanuvadhanam adarahanuvadrodha sat pratichayai arunam. Thereafter they decided, dear friends, this is certainly an animal sitting there to swallow us all. Its upper lip resembles a cloud reddened by Arkakararaktam, by the sunshine. Some of you know the Konark temple worship, where they worship the sun. So Arka here means Arkakararaktam, means appearing like sunshine. And its lower lip represents the reddish shadow of a cloud. Pratispardite shikabhyam savya sadye nagodhare tunga shringalo pyatitas tad dhamshra bhish chapashyata. On the left and the right, the two depressions resembling mountain caves are in the corners of its mouth, and the high mountain peaks are its teeth. Yes, it is. I think it is a python. Those peaks are its teeth. Ashishchayama margoyam rasanam pratigarjati esham antargatam dvantam etad api antar anam. In length and breadth, the large animal's tongue resembles a broad traffic way. Marg, like we have our sannyasi who has walked across Canada 4 times on foot, and Srila Prabhupada very prophetically gave him the name, the road of devotion, Bhakti Marg. So his rasana, his tongue, looks like a road. And inside its mouth is very, very dark, like a cave in a mountain. Davosna karovatayam Svasvavan bhakti pashyata tadagda sattva durgando apiyantarmishat gandava. Hot, fiery wind. The hot, fiery wind is the breath out of his mouth, which is giving off amisha gandavat. Gandhi. Gandhi is fragrance. Gandavat. Like we have this verse. Shariram ya avapnoti yachcha virkamatishvara grihitritani samyati vayur gandan avashayat. So, anta amisha. Anta inside is amisha ganda, the smell of burning flesh because of all the dead bodies that he's eaten, all the digestive, his fluids are digesting all these dead bodies, and there's a big horrible smell that's coming out. Asmankim atro. Asmakim. Oh, there's a different meter. Let me see. What is it? What is the meter? Asmakim matra karsita nivashtan ayam tatat chit bhakavat vinakshanti shanat aneti bakara usanmukam vikshodya santa kara tadener yayuhu. Then the boy said, has this living creature come to swallow us? If he does so, he will be immediately killed, like Bakasura, without delay. Thus they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna. So Krishna was standing not in the immediate vicinity, but he was a little far. I said, oh, see, we're in we're under the glance of Krishna. We're within his view. So we're fine. We're all good. So they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna, the enemy of Bakasura, and laughing loudly and clapping their hands, they entered the mouth of the python. And it said even that the calves were running into with their tails up. When did the calves have their tails up? What emotion is that? Very happy, very excited. So everybody's just like, yay, let's go into the mouth of the python. I think it's a python. Yeah, it is a python. Let's go in the mouth. What is it going to do? Can't swallow us all at the same time. Purport. After talking about the terrible animal in this way and that way, they decided to enter the demon's mouth. They have full faith in Krishna because they experienced how Krishna had saved them from the mouth of Bakasura. Now there was another asura, Agasura. Therefore, they wanted to enjoy the sport of entering the demon's mouth, being saved by Krishna, the enemy of Bakasura. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Mano Bishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Hare Krishna. So there's a little note. Bhakti Caitanya Swami, he says, why did Bakasura spit out Krishna? And it's more of like a transcendental, not just the Leela, but more of like a transcendental understanding. Why did Bakasura spit out Krishna? Any guess? And leave it up to the audiences.
Didn't like the taste?
Yeah, because what is the taste of Krishna?
Hot. Krishna is very hot, and he spit him out.
He's transcendently sweet. But when your tongue is diseased by the jaundice of ignorance,
Right.
can't appreciate Krishna when you don't have the, what is the verse? Is it Krishneti yasya gritam manasaj? No, that's not, it's Diksha Stichet. No. Does anybody know what's the verse? I think it's 6th verse of Nectar Instruction or 7. Anybody? Krishna. But yeah, when the tongue is diseased by the jaundice of ignorance, jaundice is a disease by which the thing that is going to cure the jaundice, the sugar candy, tastes bitter. So you cannot appreciate the delicious nectarian body of Krishna. Just smelling his body, touching his body, everything. It's emanating nectar. So he was like, bah! I had to spit him out. Oh. All right. So all these kids, they had this full faith in the protection of Krishna. There's a little story Srila Prabhupada gives about a godbrother. He had a godbrother from the Nabi family. I think I already told this story before, but he has a godbrother. I believe he's a sannyasi, but he comes from a very wealthy family. And the wealth of the family started with one man, and Prabhupada called it the dead rat business. So this one man, he was inquiring from his friend, can you help me with a little bit of investment? I want to start a business. And his friend responded saying, you're a Vaishya. Don't you know? Money is everywhere. Money is lying in the street. See that rat there? That is money. And it was true at the time that the municipal government was giving 2 annas, which is some little bit of change, for anybody who took a rat off the street and brought it to the government office, because there was a plague going around. And so he took that rat. He had no money. He was trying to start his business. So he took that rat. He brought it to the office. He was given 2 annas. With the 2 annas, he got some old bad betel nut. He washed it up and then sold it, and then made more money. And he again bought some items and sold it, bought some items and sold it. And this way he grew a large business and a big grand fortune. And Prabhupada said, as soon as anybody was born in that family, there would be 5,000 rupees would be deposited into his bank at birth. And then he would take it out full interest at the age of 18. And everybody knows India's banks have better interest rates for savings accounts and checkings accounts. And so this way he was glorifying the family. And Prabhupada said that this is the Brahmana has full faith that if I use my God-given abilities and do my duties, I will get whatever I deserve. I will achieve whatever I deserve. I will be supported completely by Krishna. You see, this Vaishya, he had full faith. He was given this, he was not full faith, but they said the Brahmana has full faith. The Kshatriya has even less faith. The Vaishya has even less faith. And the Sudra has no faith. He must seek a master. So he said that the Vaishyas in India, they would go in the evening and they would sell kerosene, some oil. In the morning, they would sell some dal, something that everyone needs. Both these things everyone needs. In this way, they wouldn't take employment. They would understand that if I have a particular talents and abilities, and if I use those abilities to my best ability, I will get whatever I deserve. That's why we say gambling. We have the 4 legs of Dharma, and gambling goes against the Satyam. Because instead of doing some honest work, I'm going to somehow cheat my fate. I'm going to get money I don't deserve. So these devotees, they have full faith. I do what is necessary, and Krishna will give whatever I deserve. Not more, not less. What is that verse, Nectar Instruction? That Ishwasham Jagat Sarvam Yat Kinchit Chikatam Jagat Tena Taktena Bhunchidita Mat Kashchit Suddhanam. So he knows everything is owned and controlled by the Lord, and he doesn't take what more than necessary, knowing well to whom it belongs. He knows he has a quota, and he also understands that Ananyas chintayantomam ye jana paripashite tesha nitya bhyuktanam yogakshamam bahamiham. Krishna, he takes care of his devotees. He gives whatever they deserve, whatever they desire. Therefore, devotees need to be very mindful of our desires. I remember one devotee, he told me how he was going to go on book distribution. It was one of his first times going on book distribution. And he said the prayer of Queen Kunti. The prayer of Queen Kunti. Now, some of these prayers, you need some adhikar, some qualification. And so what is the prayer of Queen Kunti? What do you think is the famous prayer of Queen Kunti that we're talking about?
Let these calamities come again and again.
Yeah, give me some trouble. Give me some problems. Let it come again and bring it on. Bring it on. And so he went, and the first person he approached, he approached some lady. And he said, "Excuse me, we're showing everybody these books." And the lady knocked him out and laid him. It's like, okay, maybe I wasn't ready for that prayer. So Krishna won't disappoint you. You ask for, usually what is good for you. That's the difference between praying to the demigods, like you saw the story of Bhashmasura, Vrikasura, the one who was offering his head to Lord Shiva and to the fire yagya. He wanted this power by whoever's head he would touch, their head would explode. And so he was doing this ghastly offering where he was cutting off pieces of his flesh and offering to the fire. And then last hope to capture the attention of Lord Shiva, he was going to cut his head off, and with the last little bit of strength to roll that head into the fire. And when Lord Shiva appeared, he said, no, you don't have to do all these crazy austerities. I am Ashutosh. I am easily pleased and also easily angered. So just offer me what is that particular leaf? It's from I think it's I don't know, people tree. I forget what the particular leaf that is dear to Lord Shiva. He said, offer this, offer some devotion. And you don't need to do all this ghastly stuff. I'm easily pleased. And he said, so what do you want? He said, I want this power by whoever's head I touch, their head will explode. And as soon as the Lord said, you now have this power, he began to glance upon the beauty of Lord Shiva's wife and decided, Bilva leaves. Thank you, Krishna Dayapuru. He glanced on the beauty of Lord Shiva's wife and decided, I will take his wife. I will destroy Lord Shiva by touching his head. And he started running after Lord Shiva. And Shiva started running. Lord Shiva started running. And then Lord Vishnu came in a particular form and he intervened. He asked the demon, what are you trying to do? He said, well, I would like to take the wife of Lord Shiva. So I'm going to touch his head and kill him with this power that he had granted. He said, Lord Shiva, what power does he have? There's nothing. There's no power. Just touch your head. Check it out. Then no more Bhashmasura. Bhashma, he used to eat ashes as a sacrifice. So Krishna, after that scenario, he chastised Lord Shiva. He said, you should not give these benedictions in such a blind way. You should, like the benedictions that Lord Krishna gives, he always makes sure, this is for the progress of my devotees' devotion? And is it the progress for their ultimate happiness? And so he helps his devotees, sometimes granting them wealth and gifts, so many things that the devotees feel very nicely taken care of. Sometimes it is it's troubling circumstances by which the devotees take great shelter. But in this way, the Lord is always there protecting. So today is the disappearance date of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who is one of our great Vaishnava acharyas. He is the next generation after Lord Caitanya, he is the one that basically, by his help, by his influence, carried on the great movement of Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan. So there's this pastime, Lord Chaitanya, as you might know, that he was dancing and chanting and kirtan, dancing and dancing and chanting, dancing and chanting. And all of a sudden, he started screaming, yelling, crying out for Narottam. It's like his knees buckled and he just, Narottam! Looking out in a particular direction, Narottam! And it was very, very powerful. Like his tears were like syringes gushing out of his eyes, and in a way they had not even seen before. And Lord Nityananda asked, what's going on? He said, who will carry on this prema bhakti that we are trying to distribute? Who will carry on this mission? And he said, only you can answer that question. He told Lord Nityananda, I have, there is a great associate, Narottam Das Thakur, also the Thakur Mahashai. He will appear in the future, and I will take all this balance, this great ocean of prema, and gift it to him, and he will be the great distributor of prema. And so sometime later, Lord Chaitanya was at the Padmavati river, and he told Nityananda, look, this is what we'll do. And all the devotees were watching as Lord Chaitanya entered the river, and the goddess of the river appeared. First, the water it was very placid, but then as soon as Lord Chaitanya entered the water, it started to overflow and become very ecstatic. And so Lord Chaitanya, he told the goddess, she said, my dear Lord, how may I serve you? And she said, I want to make a deposit, like we said, the savings account. I want to make a deposit, and I want you to save this deposit and give it to my dear devotee Narottam. And she said, oh, how can I identify him? How do I know who he is? He said, there will be a very dark complexioned boy, and when he enters your water, again your waters will become over flooded and become totally ecstatic due to the prema, the love and devotion of this boy. He said, well, if he has so much, how can I give him more? He said, no, he can accept all of it. And she said, yes. She disappeared. So Narottam Das Thakur was the son of a king. This is from the Kayasta caste. They're great kings. They take care of like a small, not like a king, like an emperor, but he's definitely a Kshatriya that's taking care of a certain portion of land. Back then, most of the land was ruled by Muslims, but the Kayastas they were employed like this. And so his father, Krishnananda Datta, he was getting quite old, and he was very much in anxiety. He prayed to the Lord, please, give me a child, give me a son. So how can this kingdom be cared for without an heir? And so he had this great anxiety. Oh Lord, please, please grant us a devotee child. And so he had this prayer. And then one day he had a dream. And actually, not even a dream. Before that, he heard a voice, and it said, "You have a great son, who is a great devotee." And he said, well, am I dreaming? He said, "No, I was awake when I heard this voice." He was quite surprised. And then his wife came to him. She said, "I had a dream that a beautiful personality came out of your body and entered into my body. I think we are going to have a child. He said, yes, I also had heard this voice, but let's not get our hopes up. We're so old already. And then an astrologer came, and the astrologer said to him, you both will have a great devotee son. And so then they became quite convinced. Oh yes, I think this is the sign a child is coming. And so sometime later, she started to manifest the symptoms of holding a great saint within her womb. And then after the delivery, all these great personalities, all the royal people, all these people started to come visit. And one such occasion, there was all these people there, but there was other personalities there that it seemed like only the queen could see. One of them was golden, and he had a yellow dhoti. One of them was also very whitish complexion, and he had a blue dhoti, and they're chanting. All these great, amazing devotees appeared, and she could only see them. So Narottam Das Thakur, he grew up in this household, and later in his youth, he met a Krishna Das, and Krishna Das used to talk about the pastimes of Lord Caitanya, because Lord Caitanya had just left. He's in Khitri, this is in Bangladesh. And so, the astrologer said to, this is also later astrological reading. They said, keep your son away from bodies of water. Keep him away from the Padmavati river. Otherwise, you'll go mad. And so Krishna Das, this great sadhu, was explaining all these pastimes of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, Srivas, all the associates of Lord Caitanya. And Narottam was so attracted. Not only attracted, also a little devastated. We just missed Lord Caitanya only by 500 years. If Krishna comes, if Lord Caitanya comes once in a day of Brahma, along with the appearance of Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, who appears once in a day of Brahma, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, you take a 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas, and that becomes Ahur, 1 day of Brahma. 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas becomes 1 night. There's always day and night. Day is not 24, day is 12 hours. So in 1 day of Brahma, the Lord appears as Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna, followed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so if every 8 billion years we get to see Lord Chaitanya, 500 years ago it just happened. We're still experiencing the effects, the after effects that he's just here. In fact, he's not just here, was just here. His Leela is not wrapped up. It's still happening right now. It's not like it hasn't wound it up yet. That's the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. That's the continuing Leela of Lord Chaitanya. So 500 years ago, just happened, not very long ago. Even Krishna, if you were to like put on the line scale 8 billion years and then put like 5,000 years, it's going to be just happened recently. But Narottam was just some years behind. He just missed Lord Chaitanya, so there's a lot of devastation there. And many of the great associates of Lord Chaitanya are leaving this world, left and right, leaving this world. So there's a lot of great anxiety and devastation in Narottam. He wants to be there in the association. When Lord Chaitanya told Nityananda back this pastime where he was calling out Narottam, he said, you will bring this Narottam You will give him, you will instruct him. And so Lord Nityananda appeared to Narottam in a dream and said, go to the Padmavati river. And his parents, they had been noticing that he is showing this great attachment, and thus being attached to Krishna, he was naturally becoming detached from material engagement. And so they were quite worried about him becoming just running away and leaving everything. Rightly so, rightly so. And so I decided, okay, we're going to get him married. We're going to, we have to somehow tie him down, get him a beautiful wife, get him, he's already a prince. And if someone's a prince and they're not attached, then, it's very hard to hold such a person down. Usually if someone is enjoying a life of opulence, it's very blinding. One cannot have great wisdom in that opulence. It's so entangling. And so they always tried to keep him away from the river because they heard this thing that it would make him mad, make him wild, a crazy man. And so Narottam, when Lord Nityananda told him in the dream, come to the Padmavati river, and he also, there was one vision where he saw himself in the kirtan in Navadvip at the feet of Lord Caitanya with all these associates. He didn't even recognize who all the associates were, but he was in such great ecstasy, and he just could not, bear that. And so Lord Nityananda told him, come to Padmavati river. And later on, he also said, Lokanath Goswami will be your guru. And so he stacked up his furniture to make it so he could climb out the window on the top. As he climbed out the window, he went down, maybe a lattice, come down. And there were no guards out that moment, that particular time. It was pre-dawn. It was quite early in the morning. And he ran into he went to the river. And out of the river, an effulgent personality came out. Actually, he went into the river, and the river started roaring, and the water started to overflood. And there's a beautiful goddess came out of the river, and she was holding a golden lotus. And then that golden lotus transformed into a golden child who danced himself into the heart of Narottam Das Thakur. And when that golden child entered the heart of Narottam Das Thakur, he went mad. And so actually he had a dark complexion, and his complexion turned like that of the champak. Actually, he's said to be either Vilas Manjari or Champak Manjari. Let's see, we can do a little Google search. Champak. There's Lord Caitanya. When Lord Caitanya was a very naughty child, and he was doing all kinds of mischief at the banks of the Ganges River, splashing the brahmanas, taking water and spitting water on the brahmanas, so they would go and take bath again, or sometimes taking the ladies' clothes and putting it where the men are, and take the men's clothes and putting it where the women are. So to get out of the water, the men had to put the ladies' clothes on, and ladies had to put the men's clothes on. And so they would go and complain to Jagannath Mishra. What's interesting, Jagannath Mishra, these are the parents of Lord Caitanya. You find in Krishna's Leela, Nanda Maharaj is so soft, and Yashoda is the one who's giving the chastisement. But in Lord Caitanya, he's the one who gets he gets very fiery. He's the one that's like, get the stick, I will get you. And they're like, no, don't chastise him, don't chastise. But he's just a child anyway. They would complain, but they would say, don't chastise him, don't chastise. So they complained to Jagannath, your son, he's causing so much mischief. And he's been just out here, just in the water all day, just messing around. And so he runs, he asks the children, he said, oh, no, he wasn't here. He wasn't. And they ask he goes to see Lord Caitanya, and he says, when he sees Lord Caitanya, his hair is covered in dust from from the day, and his complexion, which is like let's see, champak flower. It looks like a champak flower, but with bees. The bees are the ink stains from doing his school. He said, I'm just coming from school. And his hair is dry, his body still has dust of the day, and his golden complexion looks like champak flowers surrounded by buzzing black bees because of the ink from doing schoolwork. He said, they're not telling the truth. He said, because that I will definitely cause mischief. And so Narottam Das Thakur also, he assumed this champak, this golden complexion, and he is also known as Champak Manjari in the spiritual world. And he was rolling on the banks of the Padmavati river, saying, that golden boy, my body entered. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. That golden boy, my body entered. And he's just like in this maddening state. And the alarm has gone off, and the palace, the prince is missing, and so they're running everywhere, and they especially wanted to go check, is he at the river? And so a whole crowd starts running, and it's the king and the queen. They see, is that my Narottam? He is wearing the same clothes. It looks like his face, but what happened to his skin? He looks completely different. And he is there in a very wild and mad state. Oh, I'm running out of time. So they pick up the young prince, and they bring him back to the palace, and he's chanting and crying, and they get a witch doctor, an exorcist. And they said, no, the exorcist is doing all these things. And they said, no, he has no ghost. He is not haunted by a ghost. You might want to get some jackal oil. Go kill a jackal and make some oil and rub it on his belly. He has some air imbalance. And Narottam saying, no, you don't understand. His parents were pious, but they weren't so advanced to understand the great ecstasy of the devotees of Krishna. He said, don't do some sinful act, killing some animal. This is not, you just don't understand. And he felt bad that he was causing so much anxiety, but he could not contain this ecstasy. And so after this time, he had 24-hour guards surrounding him, 24 hours. But one day, the Nawab, the Muslim emperor, he heard about this boy, and he said, I want to see this boy. And their parents they had to follow their instruction. He was the emperor. They were quite afraid. So they had a palanquin bring Narottam to see the Nawab. And it's a many days journey. They make camps on the way. And during one of such nights, Narottam, he escaped. And he ran and ran. Run, Narottam, run! He ran for days straight, taking an hour, 2 hours stop. And he would run and run and run. But the father, he had sent his soldiers, his detectives everywhere. And one day he was walking, and he heard some sound in the bushes, and he saw, there's the man, there's the king of the men, his father's men. He's surrounded. And so he said, I will not go back. I've entered the fire of Krishna Bhakti. Just like the widow who wants to enter the fire, like in the sati, the old, this old practice. It was outlawed in India because it was done abusively. People would throw their daughters-in-law in the fire of their son, do all kinds of. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur helped to stop this act. But previously, many of the widows, there was such a strong family attachment, and the relationships were very healthy. Where you see this even nowadays, where somebody, the husband, somebody's been married for 70, 80 years, and they pass away. The other partner passes away because it's just the separation is too hard to bear. He said, I want to enter that fire. Do not interfere. I've already given my heart. And so his sweet speaking with the soldiers' men, they decided not to interfere with him. And they actually gave him some money. And he said, he continued his running and running and running and walking and running and running and walking. And until he completely collapsed. And this golden Brahmana appeared to him with this pot of nectar and brought it to him. And he could not even lift his hand. He could not even grab it. So Rupa and Sanatan appeared to him in his dream. He said, Prince, you are not used to such harsh austerities, but drink that nectar. It will give you full vitality. So he woke up, he drank the nectar. He was completely relieved from fatigue, pain, and his body was energized and healthy. And he continued on his way to Vrindavan. So let's see, what we're at the time about Any reflections, comments, questions? Let's see.
Great class, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Temple room, do we have any reflections or questions? What's that beautiful garlanded devotee sitting there?
Oh, that's our friend from Pennsylvania. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Adipurusha
yes.
Prabhu, please unmute our Pennsylvanian friend and let him share. Okay. What's your takeaway, Prabhu?
I didn't have a comment, but thank you for your class very much.
All right, thank you,
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
We heard a comment by Bhakti Vikas Swami about this pastime, about how Narottam Thakur was receiving ecstatic love of God that was deposited in the river by Lord Caitanya, right? And how he said, where is our Padmavati? Padmavati, is that the name of the river? Yeah. How can we get this? How can we get this? And it is available. And then he said, it's available in the songs by Narottam Das Thakur. His love of God, his ecstatic feeling is deposited. And when we sing Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma, that will be infused with the sentiment and the beautiful love that he has for the Lord. And so when we sing that song, we think about that. I don't know where he heard that, but he said it with great confidence, and we believe that he's not a whimsical speaker. And so it's nice to know that high levels of love of God are available to us. And he said we have to want it, and we have to try for it, and we should sing these songs. They're
Yes.
giving us not only wisdom, but somehow a mystical infusion of a very high level of consciousness just by repeating the songs that they've given us.
They asked Gorkishore Das Babaji, how can we attain love of God? How can we have this? And he said, oh, that's easy. It costs like 2 annas. And they didn't understand. So later on he explained. He said, you just need to get Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana, the 2 prayer books of Narottam Das Thakur. and read this, and you will gradually become infused with Krishna bhakti. And so, yeah, the Shri Guru Charana Padma, this is we sing every morning, and it's Narottam's love for his spiritual master, whom it was very hard for him to. Lokanath Goswami was so renounced and had such a humble feel that he would not accept any disciples.
And Nityananda Maharaj said, first of all, we have to want this love of God. Then we have to try for it. And then he said, and that treasure will be accessible to us if we try to give it to others. Anyway, that's what Maharaj told us. Here comes the conch. Well, glory to Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your class.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, there's no darshan. There's no, but Krishna sees you, Rich. Krishna sees you. Thanks for turning your camera on. Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Yes, it's available. It's deposited in the songs. We sing them every day. Classes every day. And Lord Chaitanya's movement is still unfolding. The Leela is unfolding. I like that point. That's my takeaway. Thank you so much. We're so happy to be part of it. Yeah, by Srila Prabhupada's grace. Okay. Have a wonderful day, everybody. By the way, the initiation today will be live streamed on YouTube on the Bhakti Center's channel. So tune in for that. You'll find out Akiko-chan's new name, new life. Yeah. Okay. Bruce, Brooke, Suzanne, Dana, Kay, Isabel, Isa, Spirit Soul, Venetia, Amish, Angel, Hemangi, Henry, Kartik, Aaron, Preeti, Rama, and his phone or hers, Akiko-chan again, Anna, Bhima Prabhu. Bhima Prabhu is under the weather, so let's bless Bhima Prabhu for a speedy recovery. Bhima Prabhu, we love you, we miss you. Okay, yeah, 10 a.m. Aaron says 10 a.m. is the ceremony. And yeah, Hare Krishna, everybody. I love you all. Hari Bol.